Hello, my name is Ty Wilson. I'm a Georgia Workers' Compensation attorney practicing law in the state of Georgia. And our video topic for today, we're remaking an older video that was about 13 years old, but the content is more valuable than ever. And that is, what is a posted panel of physicians? So if you've been injured on the job in the state of Georgia, the employer is supposed to have what is called a posted panel of physicians. So what does that look like? What can you guide me here? And so not all employers have it. If they don't have it, it can certainly dramatically affect your claim and how it moves forward. So let's start by looking at what is a posted panel of physicians, and more importantly, where is it normally posted, if you will. All right, so what we've done here is I have shared my screen and we are going to, we went to Google and we typed in Georgia State Board of Workers' Compensation. It pulls this up. You can go right to forms. You click on forms, it'll pull you to their website. And over here on the left, it has assessment documents, board forms. We want board forms. So double click on that, and this will pull up the board forms. Now, this will give you actually any and all board forms that you want for a particular workers' compensation claim. And so this is a good location to go if you are injured on the job. And you can tell that some of these documents have been revised, and a lot of them have been revised recently. And so you always want to make sure that if you are dealing with the Georgia State Board of Workers' Comp, that you are using the most revised, up-to-date form. Otherwise, they could kick it back. If you have an attorney, usually they work on what's called ICMS. It's a computer-based system, and we're able to submit documents electronically. However, as an individual, if you're not using an attorney, you may or may not have access to ICMS. And so then you may need to print out these forms and then complete them manually and mail them in. It's always recommended that you reach out to the Georgia State Board of Workers' Compensation and ask them how to handle that. All right, so let's get back to it here. We are looking for the panel of physicians. It has it in English and it has it in Spanish. Since we are talking in English today, we will use the English version. This is a PDF version. It's called a WCP1, and it has been updated as of last year. So when we click on that, it downloads it. And this is obviously a blank panel of physicians. And so your employer's panel of physicians will vary, because if they have a blank panel of physicians, there's an argument that they do not have a posted panel of physicians. The important part of the panel of physicians is the rules here that are laid out. And that's not the scope of this video, but that's something that you certainly can read. It is a critical part of your claim. If the employer has a valid, legally valid posted panel of physicians, there is an argument that you must treat with the doctors that are on that panel. So the employer gets to control your medical care. And that could be huge in your claim. If the employer does not have a panel at all, well, you certainly don't need to worry about this document, because then you should be able to choose the doctor that you wish to treat with, so long as they accept Georgia Workers' Compensation. And when I say accept Georgia Workers' Compensation, well, that is based on something called a fee schedule. And that is a reduced rate, such as almost like health insurance agreement. They are agreeing to accept a lower amount for their services. All right, so get back to this form. The important part of this form is, as I said, the rules are listed out. If you have an attorney, you should speak with them about that. They should be checking to make sure, one, there's a panel, and if there's a panel, that it's a legally valid panel. That's what all the rules are here. And there are some other things to take into consideration. We won't break it down right now, but in the middle of this form, and on some of the older forms, it's at the very bottom, there should be the insurance information. This would be the workers' compensation insurance carrier, possibly the actual adjuster, depending upon if they recently got that insurance or if it's an older form. And so this would give you contact information to speak with the adjuster directly. And that can be important, because what happens is when someone gets injured on the job, the employer turns it over to the insurance company. And from that point in time, usually it's the insurance company that is controlling matters behind the scenes. A lot of times the employer actually doesn't know exactly what to do, and they paid this insurance company to handle the claim. And so they don't really care per se. from a standpoint of day to day. They just want to know, can we get them back to work? Are we going to be able to get them back to work? We need to move this employment along. So that's important. We've not seen many with the email. This is an updated form. And so most of the time it's an insurance company, a phone number, and possibly a PO box. The other important information to point out on this document is the physicians. On this one, it lists out 9. They need a minimum of 6. However, that is always subject to change. So you want to speak with the Georgia Workers' Compensation attorney. Consultations are free. And just find out, is it still 6 that they need? And then there's all kinds, as I said, restrictions and important matters that you must take into consideration to consider if the panel is valid. Why do we need that panel? We need the panel because this is, if it is legally valid, again, talk to a Georgia Workers' Compensation attorney because they can tell you pretty quickly. We offer that service for free, no obligation. If the panel is valid, you arguably have to treat with one of these doctors, and you will see usually clinics on there. There should be some orthopedics on there. And then the question is the orthopedic doctor that you're going to, or possibly going to go to, does it treat the same body part? Did you injure your back? And yet all they have on here are orthopedics who handle knees. Well, that would be a question to speak with the Georgia Workers' Compensation attorney, find out what options you may have moving forward. But this will help get you care and get you care quickly. When you contact that adjuster, you can say, I have a copy of the panel, spoken with someone, or you don't necessarily have to disclose that. And it looks like the panel might be valid, or it's not valid. If it's not valid, chances are you're going to need a Georgia Workers' Compensation attorney to fight that, because a lot of times these adjusters will say, oh, looky here, I've got a panel in my desk drawer. Well, that's not the way the law is written. It's supposed to be posted, and it's supposed to be put in open and obvious place so that if you get hurt as an employee, you don't have to go to that person's desk and pull out a panel. It should be posted up. So those are a lot of things that you may or may not have the ability to fight, depending on your situation. But the important part is knowing what this panel looks like. And if you're not available to get back to work due to your injury, then you want to have a friend take a picture of it. Again, you want to discuss this with the Georgia Workers' Compensation attorney. You want to find out, what are your rights? Do you get to control medical care, or does the employer? And that can be huge in your workers' compensation claim. We hope this information has been helpful. We hope that you'll come check out our other videos. And if you have any specific questions about a workers' compensation claim, feel free to give us a call. Thank you.